first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. We appreciate you joining us, whether you're watching on our YouTube channel or at KPTV.com or on the Fox 12 Oregon apps. All great places to find the show when we're live, and of course watch those segments afterward and share them. For this segment, we are talking to Tyler Hilton. Now he's in town, he's a musician and actor who's in Portland actually today, November 18th, for a show at the Star Theater, where he's going to be playing music. And we talked to him all about his music career, but you may also know him as Chris Keller from One Tree Hill. That show has a lot of super fans that are still watching it over and over and over again, and he had a 9-season run there. So we're going to be talking about that, about how he got started in his music career, and just an interesting conversation as he stopped by the studio. So let's go right to it. Here it is, Tyler Hilton on Fox 12 Now. Tyler, thank you for having some time to come in here today.
Yeah, thanks
really,
for having me.
Really appreciate it. And, I want to start off talking about this. I mean, obviously, One Tree Hill, super fame from that, all of that, but you've been a musician before that, before going into that side of things. And I want to know a little bit about how that got started.
It's actually crazy you asked that because Portland's kind of involved in the story.
Really?
I called into this radio station. It was the Mark and Brian radio program that used to be syndicated up here. And I was living in Palm Springs. They were based in LA, in California, and I called in to get tickets for a concert, and I sang them a song, and they dug it, and so they kept having me come into their radio station and singing original songs of mine. And they gave me my start. In fact, then they brought me with them to Portland on like a satellite broadcast they did up here, and my first gig out of state when I was like 15 was in Portland.
That's crazy.
And I came up here with them, and sang and stuff. So then I actually will never forget, I was singing a song I wrote in Portland. And like I said, I was 15, and I saw these people in the front row singing the song back to me, and it blew my mind. It was the first time that I was like, oh, maybe I could do this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just funny that it all happened here.
Yeah, that's why. Well, and showing the power of radio, especially back then.
Yeah.
The fact that you were singing this in, Palm Springs.
Yeah. Well, it was in LA. I drove
LA.
into the studio.
Drove in LA. Yeah. And have that kind of an impact where people here in Portland are listening to it.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was unbelievable, and it was going all over, and that was how I kind of got my first fans, and I was able to play, coffee houses and stuff around the country and kind of get started that way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you had that taste of it then, and you've realized, some of this power that this could be something for you. So you said, when did you decide to really pursue that?
I mean, I'd always wanted to be a musician, and my family there was a lot of musicians in the family that were doing it peripherally. They were playing in either as sidemen in big bands, or were kind of opening for different acts and stuff. But they, I don't know, I just kind of thought it was out of reach for me for some reason. But really after that, I was like, oh, this is all I want to do, and I just kept writing songs and kept putting out records, even when I was 15, 16, 17 and on. And so I've been doing it professionally since then. But once I saw the fans that were in Portland, I was like, oh, this is something that I can take outside of Southern California. I could take out of California and really string enough shows together and make this work. And I just thought I would be playing enough shows, enough coffee houses to make enough money to survive. I didn't even really think it could go to the next level, but with the acting and then getting signed at Warner Brothers and stuff, it just kind of kept expanding. So
one thing building on the next, and
and Mark and Brian were a huge part of that. I still keep in touch with them and tell them all the time, dude, you guys I mean, just because I called in for tickets, and they were like, well, hold on, you got to keep coming in and singing. They really liked my music, so it was cool.
What were the tickets for?
Johnny Lang.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was just telling my friend Corey about this actually, that I was so into Johnny Lang. He was a young blues guitar player, and he made me think too, oh, this kid's only a couple years older than me, and he's doing it, and that's what I want to do. And so I wanted to see him in concert so bad, and that's what got me going. Yeah.
That's awesome. Was it Second Guessing First Impressions? Isn't that one of his, Johnny Lang's? I don't know.
One of his records?
Yeah, one of his songs.
I don't know that one.
That's a different. I don't know. We can have that discussion afterwards.
Yeah, I gotta go deeper.
There's something. Yeah, I would have to see. But anyway, so you go from there, and now you're out here on the road.
Yeah.
And you said you've been doing this, really since then.
Yeah, I mean, I took the crazy thing about this tour is I took a bunch of years off. 2019 was my last tour, and then I was going to take some time off because my wife and I were going to have a kid. But then the pandemic and all that happened, and it just kind of rolled into more time than I was kind of expecting. And then I got into other things. I was acting in some more stuff. I got into film scoring. I was scoring my wife's movie. She actually to plug her, she has a movie she wrote and directed called My Old Ass with Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, yeah.
That's out on Prime Video right now.
I just saw that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
I did not know that was your wife.
Yeah, yeah, and I did all the music for that movie as well. So I was just gonna kind of do that stuff for a while and just do the dad thing. But people kept asking, like, when are you coming back out on the road and stuff? And I thought, like, well, I mean, I guess if they want me to come, maybe I'll just see if there's anyone that's around and still wants to hear me play. And we put a bunch of tickets on sale, and they started selling really well. So I thought, oh, cool.
Nice.
So I'm just kind of out saying hi to everyone and just playing again and just getting that back into my system because it's fun to see everybody.
Yeah, what's it feel like, you know, getting back out there on the road?
It feels really good. I was really nervous, and I hadn't been nervous in years because I've been touring so long, but taking that kind of time off, it's like, whoa, you forget there's such a momentum, you know, there's an inertia you build up, and I wasn't even thinking about it anymore. It was the most natural thing in the world to me to play live. You know, it'd been like 20 years, but it really was scary. But then I realized that fear of playing is the magic of it, and I was starting to lose that. I think when you lose the fear, you do lose that magic, and I've felt there's been more of a magical connection since I started this summer in these shows than there's been since I was really young and doing it like when I came up here the first time, because it's just, it feels impossible and scary, and that's when I feel like the best stuff happens, you know.
Yeah,
so it's been cool.
Feeding off of that and you know, a live audience. I'm sure there's something about that interaction, right?
Well, and I realize it's the one thing that I can't do on my own. You know, I can be in the studio playing, I can practice, but you can't do a live show without other people coming. You know, it's just, you need that interaction, and it's also made me feel so grateful and humble as well, because I'd honestly forgotten how much I need the audience. You know, you think like, oh, I don't need anyone to write. I don't need to think about anyone to do a record. But you do, and you don't need them to play, but you do need them to have that magic of a live show. And that is different than anything else, you know? It's a real magic thing, so it's cool.
So when you compare like that, you know, performing live in front of people, or, you know, your acting career and some of the other things you do, is there one that stands out above the others? Or is each one kind of its own?
You mean like between acting and singing?
Yeah, if you had to choose, Is there...
Man, I don't know. There's such different things. I do know that, like, I was just gonna do music. I didn't think I was gonna be an actor or anything, but I always did theater and stuff as a kid, and I loved it. Now I can't imagine just doing one or the other, because the truth is I get bored of things after a while, and I need that excitement and that fear of like, oh, is this gonna work? And I think if I do the same thing for too long, I kind of lose that fear. I get cocky, and then the magic goes away from me and maybe everybody else. But taking a break to go back out on set, taking a break from the road to go do a movie or TV show, you know, every time I come on set, I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I can't do this. And then that fear and that nervousness and excitement, I think, creates magic. And then I'm so excited to get back out on the road. So I really think I need both. But if I had to pick one, I mean, I'm a musician in my blood. My family are musicians. Like, that's what I'll do. Even if no one wanted to pay to hear me play anymore, I'd be doing it, you know? That's like what I do, you know? Right, wouldn't matter whether, Yeah, and I am a musician. Like, my family tree are full of musicians. Like, we're musicians, it's natural. My kids, they really have a natural thing. Like, music is in our blood, and so that's like, there's something in me that makes me feel like that's what I do, you know? Yeah. But have you felt anything change, you know, from when you first started, you know, just in the business, I guess, in general, from when you first started playing to now? Like, as far as, you know, you look at how people even consume music. Oh my gosh, you know, so much. I mean, my first record I did when I was 15, we recorded it to tape, you know what I mean? And I remember there was some weird dork in the room next door learning Pro Tools, and I was like, bro, let it go. Like, we're never gonna record music to a computer, you know? And we were like, you know, they were like splicing stuff, and I mean, all the way to, by the time my first record came out on my major label debut, it went right to iTunes, and it was like the first time iTunes was happening, and it just, unbelievable. Every record of mine, it's a whole new thing, you know? It's like really actually like dizzying, because I've had to learn, you can't just be a musician anymore. I mean, then social media coming along. Right. I mean, I used to do record in stores. I did mall tours for one of my records. That's gone away. You know, like
mall tours.
CDs go away, and it's vinyl, and then it's like now this tour this summer, all the younger kids that are like 25 and under are asking for CDs because it's like kitsch, and the early 2000s is coming back. So I'm like, oh God, okay, we're back to CDs. You know, it's like, it's so wild. You know? But live music has stayed the same. That's the funny thing. And I don't think you can replace that. Live music, I've thought about that a lot. Like, there's no replacing that. And so in a lot of ways, I think that'll be the one through line of my whole life and career. And the last 100 years or more of music is all live music, you know?
Doesn't matter how many social media platforms come out there, live music's still gonna be live music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, interacting with people. Well, for people who come to one of your shows, you know, what's the experience that you want them to have?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I just like want them to have, you know, a good time and stuff. But I will tell you that, like, there's a lot of stories. You know, I'm like I like to tell stories about my songs, and because I've done so many movies and TV shows, and I've played music on all of them, a lot of it is kind of going back through that and revisiting some of those things. And it's great for One Tree Hill fans because I play a lot of the music that I played on the show, and I grew up on that show, and so they had me play a lot of my music there. So. You know, in a lot of ways, like the story of my career is like the story of the 9 years of One Tree Hill. So there's a lot of that, and I think it's fun, and I love to meet the fans and stuff too. So afterwards, we, you know, have like meet and greet tickets you can buy, and I love to stick around and try to meet as many people as I can as well. Because for me, this is, especially now, it's always been this way, but especially now, I'm so excited after this break to be around and see who's still coming to this stuff. You know, it really blows my mind. It makes me so excited that people are still into it. You know?
Well, I mean, it's not just that, it's just your music for that entire time too that you've been doing this, and people are obviously fans of that. I mean, in One Tree Hill, I know so many people that go back through and rewatch that over and over and over.
It's crazy.
And yeah, I mean,
in fact, I've been so surprised when we put these tickets on sale. People are like, why isn't it all ages? And I honestly didn't even think there were people under 18 that were into this stuff still, but so many. During the pandemic, they got into it, you know, it's wild.
Yeah, I mean, did you know at the time when you were doing that what an impact it was having?
No, and there's nothing I do ever that I have any idea of it, if it's gonna have an impact or not. I mean, you know, like I've been doing music and film and TV for so long, and the projects you think are going to be huge and that everyone talks about being huge aren't. And the ones that people are thinking are going to be throwaway are the ones, like nobody knows. Nobody has any idea, from the execs down to the actors. It's just a guess. And One Tree Hill, they thought that show was getting canceled every season for 9 years, you know?
Really?
And yeah, and now we do conventions worldwide, 1 or 2 a year, you know, like, it's got such an international fan base. There's something about that show that people just connected to. It's unbelievable. And it's magic. It's like we're all swept up in it too. Nobody saw it coming, you know? So.
Yeah, but that's still cool though. So you get to have like reunions with everybody.
Oh yeah, in fact, I just saw Robert Buckley, one of the guys from the show, is a local here, and I just got to hang out with him. But these people are some of my best friends. You know, we were in those early, you know, college age years when a friend group is the most important thing to you. That was our time together. So we're like bonded to each other forever, you know, it's cool.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, people can go out and see you here in Portland tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where am I playing?
You're playing at the Star Theater.
I'm playing at the Star Theater.
Which is actually a really cool venue.
Cool.
So yeah, really cool place.
I'm so excited. I love the Pacific Northwest. All my family left California to move up to Portland, so this is, in a lot of ways, feels like a hometown show for me. So
nice.
I'm excited.
Nice. Well, you know, it's great to have you here. It's great for you to come in. I think the last thing I want to ask is, you know, for you, since you started off there at 15, you know, going on this journey, what would you say to somebody else, to another 15-year-old out there, or maybe a kid just getting their start?
Oh, it's such a good question. You know, at one point I would have said well, maybe I'd still say, you know, find as many open mics as you can and do those, because there's nothing scarier than playing a song in front of people. I mean, you could do it on your phone, on your computer, but it is so scary to sing in front of people. And you got to do it, you know? And an open mic setting is so great for that, because everybody's horrible, you know? And everyone who's sitting there is expecting people to be horrible. So it's a great place to be horrible, you know? And I did that a lot. That's probably my number one thing. And even if you're not writing songs, learn songs, you know, just learn as many songs as you can, because that'll teach you how songs are formed, and it'll be helping you practice your voice and your, you know, and all. And I guess, you know, once you feel good enough, then post yourself singing on, you know, all the socials. But open mics, man, that's the first step, you know. If you're going 0 to 1, do those open mics.
Go out and be scared and
Yeah, every
don't be
week,
afraid
you
to
know,
suck.
learn a new song every week and go perform that and have that one moment a week where you're scared out of your mind, you know?
I love it.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for coming in today.
Cool. Thanks
Really
for having me.
appreciate it.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
This is awesome. All right, so there we go. Once again, thank you to Tyler Hilton for stopping by the studio. So interesting conversation, and one of the things we get to do here with this show, because we can have these longer form segments and interviews. You can watch all those on the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel, KPTV.com, or on the Fox 12 Oregon apps. Obviously, you found us. Just want to make sure that you know of the other options as well. And feel free to share these segments out there with other people. If you have an idea for a segment, you can send me an email, fox12now@kptv.com, fox12now@kptv.com. That's it for right now. I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.